everybody, welcome to Tales at 2. I'm Miss Erin. Also with me today is Miss Rachel, and we are going to be doing some egg experiments. We've talked about eggs before with you guys and nests and things like that, but today is kind of a more fun activity to try some stuff out at home. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to join our stream today. So we want to say thank you to everyone who's been joining us. Any new folks, welcome. We do these every afternoon at 2 o'clock during the week, also on Saturday at 2 o'clock as well. So we've been trying to do a variety of different things. We've also been asking you all for ideas. So if there's anything that you want to see us do that we haven't done yet, because we've done a whole lot of topics and a whole lot of videos, put it down in the comments or shoot us an email at education@cedarrun.org, and we'll try our best to reach out and do a topic that might interest you. So, of course, these are kind of geared toward children, but adults as well are learning lots and lots of things, depending on what our topic happens to be. So, feel free to ask for any topic that you want to see us do. So again, anyone who has just joined us, we're doing Eggsperiments today. We've talked about eggs and different animals that come from eggs in some of our previous streams, different coloration of eggs. We've also done nests. But today we want to do some things about how eggs protect the baby, of course, right? So the main egg that everybody knows is the bird egg. They're the ones that we see all the time. They're the ones that humans usually like to eat. So we are going to be doing a couple things, and then we're going to challenge you all to try something at home. So any of these things you guys can try at home. Of course, ask mom and dad first if this is some kids watching. You don't want to make too much of a mess at home, and you don't want to use up the eggs that maybe they're going to use for breakfast. So my first thing that I want to show you guys is we have a couple eggs here, and we're going to be trying 2 different experiments this afternoon. And the cool thing about eggs is they're able to protect the growing bird inside, right? So they're not going to crack all that easily. But if you guys think about the egg that you have at home and that you're going to crack open to eat, they do crack pretty easily if you drop them onto the floor, right? Or if you crack them on the side of a bowl. But if a bird sits on it, they don't want their egg to crack. They want to protect their growing baby, right? And they want to keep it warm in order to keep it safe. So these guys are able to protect the baby, but they're fragile at the same time. So they're built to be protective in certain ways. So I want to try some different things, and I got my bowl just in case I make a mess on our table today. So if you all have some eggs at home, you can try this out too. So if you hold an egg in the palm of your hand like this, and try to squeeze it as hard as possible, which I'm trying to do. You can see my fingers are turning red. It isn't going to break. That's because I'm kind of evenly distributing the pressure throughout the whole egg. So it's getting the same amount of pressure on this side as well as this side. So it's not going to crack very easily unless you're a super, super strong person, right? Because I'm distributing my strength throughout the whole egg. Same thing happens if I'm going to push on the egg like this, right? The top and the bottom of the egg are also very strong. To protect the egg, if the mother's sitting it on this direction or this direction, it's going to keep it from cracking. But if I was to grab something on one side, and let's see if I can do it. I don't know if I'm strong enough. If you just grab the egg on one side, it might not work for me today. Usually if you grab it on just one end of the egg, you're able to break it. I can't today. Want to try, Miss Rachel?
I'm scared.
Usually, guys, if you grab it on just one end, because you're not distributing your strength throughout it, you are able to crack it with your hand. And it's not working for me today. But try it out at home anyway.
Super strong egg.
Super strong egg or super weak Miss Erin. All right, so that didn't work. But usually, if you're not grabbing it in the same spot on either side, if you're just grabbing half of the egg, usually you're able to crack it. Maybe this one has an extra thick shell. All right, we're also going to try another experiment here. So I've got 3 of the same kinds of eggs. I'm pushing Danielle into the bush, right? And they are sitting on top of, and they have on top of them, bottle caps. So you just need 6 bottle caps, which might take you a little while to find at home. 6 of the same bottle caps is the key, because we want these guys to be level with one another. All right, so you're going to put your egg on top of a bottle cap, then put a bottle cap on top of your egg. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some books on top of our eggs. And we're going to see how much weight these eggs can hold before they start to crack. So obviously, the egg is not indestructible. If it gets a good amount of weight on it, it is going to break open. But you'd be amazed at how much weight these guys can carry by how little that they are. So I have add if Danielle wants to pan over. We've got 9 life encyclopedia books, and we have 3 of time life encyclopedia books. So we have 12 books that we're going to have all together. How many books do you guys think I can put on top of these eggs before the eggs start to crack? I'm going to give you all a couple seconds. All right, so they're not a very big book. They weigh, what do you think? Pound?
Oh, not even. Maybe half.
Half a pound, maybe? All right. So if we put on all of them, it's about 6 pounds. So how many books total do you guys think? Does anyone have any guesses? Guess it in your mind if you don't want to type it. Miss Rachel, do you have a guess?
I say 5 books.
Miss Rachel says 5 books. Danielle, how many books?
I say 7 books.
7 books. All right. 5 books, 7 books. I'm going to say 11 books. I'm going for strong eggs.
All right. I'm just counting how many books we have.
All
Okay.
right, so we're going to start. We're going to make it suspenseful. All right, so I have these eggs in a triangle. Another way to do this experiment, you can do them in a square or a rectangle. It does kind of the same thing, as long as you're distributing the weight nice and evenly. You don't want them too close together. You want them to be able to disperse around the book. All right, ready? 1, 2. Sometimes you don't see the egg crack, but you hear it, so use your listening ears, everybody. 3, 4. Any more books? 5.
Oh, there goes mine.
6. 7.
And mine's done.
8. 9.
Oh my goodness.
10. 11. You don't have enough books? 12.
Can we lean on it?
Put some big rocks on it.
You can put some big rocks on it. I don't have any big rocks on my side, sorry.
I watched a Lego competition where they made a bridge out of Legos. They put a ton on top of the Legos.
A literal ton.
This one might be a little too heavy.
Here, try. Knock into it first.
They're still going.
Suspense. Suspense. This rock's really heavy.
I think the table's gonna go before the eggs do, Miss Erin.
The table's blowing in the middle.
It is a bit, yeah.
I don't think that one will balance. What do we got instead? How about this guy that's holding the door open?
I'm a mom. I totally thought of Moana when you started that.
Oh. Oh. Guys hear it? Finally cracking.
I don't think it's the eggs. The eggs don't look cracked.
Oh, this one did.
Oh, cracked
you
on that
see
side.
it?
Yeah, it's got to crack all the way down.
Oh.
Okay.
See, there's a nice crack on that one there.
Oh my goodness.
So, we've got 12 books and probably like 10 pounds of rocks.
At least.
And only one cracked.
And only one cracked, yeah. So it could be that there's a little bit more weight on this side because of the rocks. Or it could be maybe that egg was slightly bigger than the other ones. That's why that one is cracking, right? So we've got all this on here. They still haven't crunched all the way down, right? But they're just starting to crack. I'm not going to make them crunch all the way down. That's too much work. And it's messy.
We have to clean the books off.
So to keep from making too much of a mess, I'm at least going to take our rocks off. All right. So eggs, guys, can sustain a lot of weight, right? So these were chicken eggs. Chickens don't weigh as much as what I just put on top of there. So obviously the mother is not going to crack that egg open if she's sitting on it to incubate it. So this guy did have the crack.
Oh, yes, we can see the crack at the top.
All right, the other two are still fine, which is good because these are to feed our animals. I got to bring them back. So one more thing we're going to do this afternoon in our egg experiment. So we tried to crack the egg. Didn't work for me today. We tried to weigh on top of our eggs. And you guys can try that one at home too, as long as mom and dad are okay with it. What I usually do is I take the bottom book and I put some paper towel on it or some plastic wrap. So if it does crunch, it doesn't get egg all over your book. All right. But we're also going to do today an egg drop experiment. So some of you guys may have done this in school or had brothers and sisters who've done this in school. The teacher gives you, or in our case, me and Miss Rachel, give you guys lots of things. And what you have to do is design a holder for your egg that will keep it from cracking when you drop it from a certain height. So in our case, we're going to drop it from all the way up on the top of this bench. So about 10 feet, 9 feet.
Yeah, 8 or 9, somewhere around there.
Door height, so
Door
8
height.
feet. So our goal with all of these random things that I collected from our craft closet is to protect the egg that we have and make sure it doesn't crack when we drop it from that height. So you guys, if you want to try it at home, pick some random stuff, compete against your brothers and sisters or your mom and dad or your grandma and grandpa, and see whose egg can get protected. Now my thing is to tell you guys, if you're going to do this, do it outside, because a lot of the eggs do break. No matter how good you think you've protected them, they do break.
But they tell you how many books and
That's
rocks.
true, but this is dropping from a height, right? It's not just me trying to squish it. It's dropping from a height, so it's getting the momentum, and it's hitting it on one side, right? It's cracking open from that. So, Miss Rachel and I are going to compete, and we're going to try to put together a little quickie egg drop, and we're going to see whose egg starts. So, you guys can use whatever you want at home to try to protect your egg. I've seen people do it. We can work while I talk. I've seen people do it with bags of water. I've seen people put baggies with cotton balls in it. You can use a bunch of random things. We've got plates. We've got, what are those called?
Coffee filter.
filters. We've got cotton balls. I even brought out some actual egg carton, which we know protects the eggs when they're in the store at least. We've got string, we've got some tape, we've got some scissors. Some people have used sticks. I've seen people use straws. I've seen people use all sorts of different things. This is already cracked. I'm not using this one. Got this guy.
I think, do we have the same idea here?
Maybe. I'll switch. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And if your family's all using the same stuff, it's kind of cool to see what different people come up with, right? Because even if you're using the same material, you might have a completely different idea than someone else does. Alright, so I'm doing egg carton cotton balls. And I'm gonna try to close up my thing with some different tape. Does anyone have any questions while we're making this? I don't want to bore you too much.
If you guys were with me for summer camp, you should remember that my egg drop failed horribly over summer camp. So I'm trying something different this time. We'll see what happens.
Every time I do it, I make something different. I think the last time when I did it, I made something that had a pencil in it. I don't remember what the pencil did though. But the pencil did something for my... So I'm thinking...
Oh, I like this. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I like it. Shove, shove, shove.
I'm thinking I'm going to try to make a parachute for mine. But it might be a little bit too heavy. So we shall see. So if you're doing it at home and you decide that you're going to compete against other people, you might want to make some rules, like you can't use certain things, right? With camp, we always say no glue and no staples, right? You usually only get tape and string because that's a little harder to manipulate.
You might want to give everybody the exact same materials and
true.
see what they do with it. Depends on how much you want to go with it.
How crazy you want to be.
Yeah.
Are we boring you? I hope not.
Alright, I think I'm set. Maybe. Okay, I think I'm good.
Alright, I'm almost done.
I need one more piece of tape. I'm almost done. found a weakness. I found a weakness already. Okay, I'm done. I'm not. I need a pen. Miss Rachel's egg. Egg cup.
I'm not sure how I'm tying this on here.
Would you like some help?
No.
Okay.
I can do it. Hopefully. It's a very quick one, so didn't really think my idea out too well.
And like I said, I think we had the same idea to begin with, so she switched hers midway.
Alright.
Parachute. Tape on styrofoam doesn't always work well.
It's true. Alright. So I've got my parachute, which I think is not quite big enough to hold my egg.
We'll say.
And Miss Rachel has her
Egg cup.
Egg cup. So let's move the table out of the way. Alright. You know how to make it a little extra.
Oh my goodness. Oh, my book of living heart.
Alright, ready? So you gotta hold it up as high as you can. You don't want people cheating. Some of them might hold it this way, some might hold this way. You gotta settle in it, right? Ready?
Oh.
That didn't sound good.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
He's oozing. So the egg is on this side, but the egg is coming out on that side, so that's not good. So it might protect them in the store, but not so much from a 10-foot drop.
Alright,
Miss Rachel's
let's
up.
try a cup, cotton ball, another cup, and another cup. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna fall. It's gonna be my crack. Oh boy. Alright, ready?
Maybe it was just the cup cracking.
No, there's
No.
yolk.
All right, friends, we want to see what you can come up with. All right, so
Ours failed.
spend more time on it, right? But if you want to use similar things, that would be pretty cool. But you might not have this stuff at home, so use whatever you think is going to work. Shoot a video or take a picture, and we want to see it. So accept the challenge of the egg drop, friends. All right, so thank you for joining us, everyone. If anyone is watching this later on and you have any comments, feel free to add them down at the bottom. We will look back at them. So hopefully we'll see you all again tomorrow afternoon. Have a good one.